Look, you don't even know what the hell you're dealing with here. This isn't some pretty little lacquer box you can just take the lid off and find out what's inside. You might see the face of a Chinese man here, but let me tell you something. They don't see the same face. They see the face of a cop. American-born Chinese, ABC. To them, I'm just as white as you are. You know, you think because I speak the language, I can get all your answers for you, but what good is an interpreter when everyone speaks the language of silence?
Hello and welcome to Most Unwanted, an X-Files podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Checkley, and the co-host today, as always, Luke Costin. Reginald?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can go by that name if you like. Reginald, would it be Costin or like Luke Reginald?
Just joking, guys. My name's Luke.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's what people tune in for, the
Yeah.
classic Luke comedy.
Where it just veers off and it's like, what's the point in this? I ask myself.
So how you been, Luke? How's your week been?
It's not been bad. My week's been... It's been pretty... It'll be dull listening because all I've done all week, pretty much, is play Death Stranding, still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, has it
that's
got any
what-
better? Well, not better. I know it was too early to tell last time we spoke, wasn't it?
So I do have an updated review,
Okay.
and I'm now 11 hours into the game.
Okay.
Still on chapter 3.
Yeah.
So not that far. I love it.
Oh, okay.
It's gone up there. It's probably my favourite game this year.
Wow.
I still don't really know what the story is about, and I feel like it's not going to reveal itself for a while. But the gameplay, I don't know how. The gameplay has sucked me in completely. It's weird because it's mundane tasks, really. Like, your main aim is to deliver packages to people.
Okay.
You think, that's got to be really boring. But it's like, do you know in Red Dead, where there's a lot of exploring and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's like that, but basically, it's multiplayer in the way that you don't see any other players at all, but stuff that they build in their world shows up in your world. So if you like get to a piece of water and you've got to, because it's a struggle to get round. Basically, if you walk through water, you've got to try and balance yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody's already built a bridge over it, and you get to it. You go, oh, they've already built a bridge. I can just run straight over it. You can give them a like, basically, Facebook style.
That's good.
It's the most collaborative game I've ever played. Like,
How does that work, though? So say if I jump on it 6 months in advance, isn't the world just going to be absolutely built up?
that's what I'm thinking. It's definitely one of those games, or it's one of those things, do you know, where it's like, oh, you've got to jump on it straight away.
Yeah.
I don't know what this will be like in a year.
Unless they
keep
servers. And
that's
keep
what I'm
refreshing
thinking. They
servers.
keep refreshing it. But yeah, at the moment I've just been building roads, like actual just roads for people. I keep going on, and I've got.
It does sound mundane. I'm not
sounds
going to lie.
very boring. I know. But yeah, I logged in the other day, and it's like you have 10,000 new likes, and I was like, what? But yeah, I apparently impressed the world with my road building skills. But,
Nice.
But yeah, it's still weird. The story is, but yeah, the gameplay, I'm fell in love with it. But preface, I'll caveat this. This game is definitely not for everybody.
Yeah,
Definitely not for everybody.
I've got that feeling
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
to be honest. On that point, there are certain games where, I don't know whether you ever have this, do you ever have where you put a lot of man hours in to like, either creating something or like developing something, and you just sort of sit back sometimes and think to yourself, like, I'm working so hard for a virtual accomplishment.
Yeah.
And, like, in a way, like, I'm not for or against it. Like, I know there's people out there that said it's a waste of time, and stuff like that, and I don't see it like that. At the end of the day, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And so I don't see it as a waste of time. I see it as an escapism, almost. But there are times when I sit back and go, oh, I could have been learning French.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where, at the same time, but I don't find learning French as interesting as building roads, like in this case. Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
It is a strange one. I always find, though, that it's, like I said, it's, as long as it's not your sole focus in life, as long as you're, if you're playing this game, but then also outside of this, you have a job, you have friends, family, you know what I mean? You're maintaining other aspects of your life. Do what you want.
Yeah.
It's only when it becomes that, like, all-encompassing addiction, and that's when it's down the wrong path. But yeah, if you want to build roads forever, I remember seeing my final playtime on Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Yeah.
and I was like, oh man, I've put a lot of time into this. But I think this was at a time where I was looking for a job.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much money, so I was happy to just dump all my time into this.
I had a similar thing where it was on. It was either, I think it was FIFA 15. So it was 5 years ago odd. Or it might have been 16.
Yeah.
And
I like it, we're both saying games that we put the most time into. They were about 6 years ago. We just don't have that time anymore, do we?
No, I mean, to be fair, I play a fair amount of games. But I mean, this is the one where I just remember being shocked by how much I played. Because it was hundreds and hundreds of hours. And I was like, I remember looking at it going, I don't remember it being like that. Like, and God, that is a waste of time. And sort of almost feeling bad about myself. And then I thought back to myself and I was like, well, hang on, no, because the only time I'd go on there would be to talk to friends.
Yeah.
Like it's a form of socialising. It's the same as when I was younger. My mum would sit on the phone for 2 hours to a friend. You know what I mean? There's no difference, except the only difference is we're just doing something whilst we talk.
Yeah.
It's just like the only reason why I go on to any of the online games, really, like, of course I enjoy the games and whatnot, but when you break it down, I only go on to speak to people.
That's the thing. Like, do you know if some people join like football teams or like
exactly.
in America like a softball team or something like that with colleagues
it's
or whatever?
It's a hobby.
That's the thing. This is basically the same, but it's a bit more convenient because it's difficult, especially these days. There's a lot of like pressures on doing things. There's not enough time to go out and do things.
No, exactly.
So if there's like a way that you can do it in the comfort of your house while still keeping social,
and you can turn off the switch, you know what I mean, and just go and do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Just an interesting thought, but anyway, we fell down a rabbit hole that I didn't intend to.
Yeah. How about yourself? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of games.
Fair enough.
I think we should get straight into the episode, don't you?
Yeah. Have you got any witty way into it? Any witty segue? That sounds like a no. Hell, let's make some money.
So this week we'll be looking at Season 3, Episode 19 of The X-Files. This one is entitled, as you so eloquently led us into...
Let's not beat around the bush. That was awful.
Hell Money. Directed by Tucker Gates. I don't think I've heard that name before.
Yeah, first time I've seen that name.
And another new name, as far as I'm aware, written by Jeff Vlaming.
I think he's done one.
Has he? I don't remember, yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I've definitely seen the name.
Yeah, okay. Well, this originally aired on March 29th, 1996. We start in San Francisco, Chinatown. Don't you think that, just my first note straight off the bat, Chinatown always looks so much more fun in films and TV?
Yeah, because like I've been to like Chinatown in London.
I've been to so many. Like I literally, like back in the day when I used to work in Birmingham, I used to walk through Chinatown every day to get there. It's never as fun as it looks on TV.
Maybe it's fun on like
events.
Chinese New Year. I imagine it's a whale of a time.
But that's like, but the problem is every TV show that takes place in Chinatown, it's always like this. So that's like every TV show ever only being set in New Year's Eve. Do you know what I mean? It's just weird. Like it looks like really good fun, but
I did think at this point they're really milking. I don't know if they built a set for this Hong Kong like setup. You know, they had it earlier on. I reckon. Yeah. We'll just do another scene here. We'll write a story around it.
I wonder if that's the case.
Maybe.
The story starts with a Chinese immigrant, Johnny Lowe, and he's just making his way to his apartment. When he's there, he's confronted by three men in...
They're like...
I don't know what you'd call them.
Yeah, they're just masks in there. I don't know what...
They look like...
masks.
I know that, again, for a lot of our listeners, this won't make a lot of sense, but I'm guessing they're quite traditional Asian masks.
Yeah.
Because they're very similar to masks that Asuka in WWE wears.
Yeah.
But I know she's Japanese,
that's
isn't
kabuki,
she?
Isn't it? Like the Japanese stuff.
I'm not sure, but I'm just showing my ignorance, I suppose.
It might be a similar kind of thing.
But I think it's quite... Because they do look similar masks, but they look like almost like cherub.
Yeah.
You know, like, with like the puffy cheeks and stuff like that.
I didn't realise it was people wearing them at first. I thought it was just like these masks were on like dummies or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's creepy, and then I realised, oh no, they're actual people.
Yeah,
masks or something or whatever it is.
he's being told to pay the price, and we later see a security guard who finds the three figures in the sort of basement area, and they just sort of scarp at. And then he kind of just lets them go, which I found weird.
Yeah.
Like he's
no
just,
chasing.
No, he sees a light, and he's completely intoxicated by this light that he's not even worried about the 3 people that have broke into the building. But he does put his eye up to this sort of this hole in the wall where this light is, and he sees the Johnny Lowe that we saw being burnt alive.
Yeah.
In a sort of like a cremation chamber.
See, I because my head always goes to Hot Fuzz, I initially just wrote as a note down, nasty way to go. It was quite funny as we came back from the intro that is pretty much what Scully says.
Pretty much, yeah.
Easy.
I mean, oh god, it's not a nice way to go.
No.
It's
like a saw trap or something like that.
Yeah, that and drowning really sort of doesn't sit right with me.
Fire and water, always the worst ways.
I think it's like this is going deep, but like I feel like it's for me when I think about it, I feel like it's the panic. It's the panic in those seconds beforehand, knowing there's nothing you can do. And especially like with drowning, I always think to myself, like that last breath before you take the water into your lungs, I just feel like, it really just doesn't sit right with me.
I remember hearing somewhere that somebody said with drowning, apparently the last breath's meant to be euphoric, but I always thought, how would they know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
I've heard the same thing. Like you sort of reach this sort of state of serenity. Yeah.
I don't believe it. I feel like it just because then scientists say no, it's horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine like your water filling with lungs. I can't imagine that's a nice feeling as well.
Your water.
Water.
They come out with my mouth.
Swipe that. Reverse it.
I might do that.
Lungs filling with water. So as you say, we then jump in typical X-Files fashion to Mulder and Scully investigating the death. And apparently this is the latest in a series of fatal incinerations in Chinatown. Mulder's straight in with the theories that he believes that there's a ghost activity behind it.
Yeah.
They do go into this sort of crematorium and like I don't know what you call it, what was it called, the chamber?
Yeah, because it's not really like it's not like
it's just like
it's just like a metal box,
like the chamber inside, like that you'd find in a crematorium.
Yeah.
But anyway, in that sort of chamber, we'll go with that. There is a sign on the roof of it, that they do find, and luckily there is a guy, a cop working on the case who does read Chinese, and his name is Glenn Shao. Mm-hmm. Did you recognise Glenn Shao?
Straight away, and I couldn't figure out what it was from. I was like, I know this guy from something, and then a bit of Googling. It's Henry Wu.
Yeah, it is from Jurassic Park. This whole episode's like quite full of stars, to be fair.
Do you know what blew my mind even more? Because I thought Henry Wu, I've seen him in Jurassic World, in the new one. He's got quite a big role in that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's helping them hatch.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a big callback when he's back. Yeah,
I didn't realise. I was like, because that meant I just didn't even know he was.
Yeah. Apparently, in the new Jurassic Park, we've got Jeff Goldblum. We've got who's the other guy that was in it?
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill's coming back. Yeah, so that should be fun.
All the stars.
It
did. I was looking through his like list of what he's worked in because the actor's name is B.D. Wong.
B.D. Wong, yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He played the obviously not Mulan, the other guy, the hero of a hero.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember his name,
but he played that as well.
Who isn't Donny Osmond playing him in the Disney?
Maybe.
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah.
No, not in the Disney cartoon. In the cartoon, it's B.D. Wong.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe is it Donny Osmond that sings the song?
Maybe he does the song. Yeah.
I'm just going to double check because we could sound like an idiot here. So just
no, it's B.D. Wong.
Stall for time for me.
No.
We got 3 minutes of silence, people. I'll make. Yeah, it is Donny Osmond. He sings "I'll Make a Man Out of You."
Oh, okay.
I assumed he'd just play the entire.
No, you hear about that though, don't you? Because like, what's his name? Danny Elfman does the singing voice for Jack Skellington, but doesn't do the talking voice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I feel like I can understand the other way around, where you'd have the talk, like Zac Efron in High School Musical. Yeah. They wanted the actor, but he couldn't sing at the time, so they got someone else. But like, if you
But
can,
did they actually?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's
I
not
thought
Zac
you
Efron
sang
singing.
it. Oh my!
In the third, I mean, I'm not a High School Musical fanboy, but like I do know that in the third one he sang, because I know he sings in The Greatest Showman, and that's actually him singing. So he must have had singing lessons. But in the first one, he couldn't sing.
I was disappointed he didn't do any singing in that one where he played Ted Bundy. No musical numbers in that.
Yeah.
Very.
It was a droll affair,
Yeah,
I thought.
yeah. Like, where's the show tunes?
Have you seen that film?
Yeah, I watched it the other day.
It's
yeah.
really good. Isn't it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not close to the actual event."
Yeah, it's a dramatisation.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. It was interesting that it focused on him.
Yeah.
So much. I thought they'd be. Well, it focused on his wife quite a lot as well. Or did he? I don't know if he got married to her. Did he? His girlfriend, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
they did get married. He proposed at least, didn't he? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
This isn't the Ted Bundy podcast.
Yeah, there's many podcasts that can cover that.
But not many that can cover this cult/ghost activity.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite lucky that they've got Glenn Chow with them, because he can read the signs, and he tells them that the sign in the crematorium translates it as meaning ghost. And Mulder also finds a scrap of burned paper in the ashes, which Chow identifies as hell money.
Yeah.
Which apparently in his culture is a symbolic offering to deceased spirits, and that will become a theme throughout this episode.
Yeah.
I
I quite like this because I don't know how accurate it is. This will show my ignorance, but I did quite like learning a lot of Chinese or at least Cantonese traditions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like hell money and like.
Well, the thing is, but the problem is we don't know how much of it's true.
Exactly. That's the thing.
You know what I mean?
But I wonder if the spiritual side of it is there is what they say about that.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that we find out that Glenn Chow is not a reliable narrator. Do you know what I mean?
True.
But before we get to that, I actually really like this character.
Yeah, I thought he was really good.
I think he holds himself well with Mulder and Scully. Like, there's a scene later on where I can't remember what the context. Oh no, they're asking Scully's asking him about his beliefs and whether he believes it, and he basically turns around and says that it's a timeless tradition. And it's so hard to sort of turn away from that my mother believed and my grandmother believed, etc. But the thing I most worry about is my mortgage payment.
Yeah,
Like that.
exactly.
And I just thought he holds himself well in that company, and I actually quite like this sort of dynamic between them.
There's I mean, we'll get to it later, but there's scenes where he sort of has basically an argument with them as well, which sort of portraying because they sort of go to him as this well of Chinese knowledge, and he sort of starts getting a bit annoyed by it.
I can completely understand at that point. We'll get to that bit.
We'll get to it.
So the agents then locate Lowe's apartments, and they find this collection of charms, and they also find that new carpet's been laid, and there's bloodstains underneath.
As they're going up the stairs, there was one line in this that absolutely cracked me up, where they're talking about what his occupation was, and you find out that he was he worked in a kitchen, and Mulder just says,
He was a dishwasher in Chinatown.
How many dishes do you have to break before your boss tosses you in an oven?
he has quite a few in that bit actually. He has a few zingers.
Yeah.
So, but that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, I mean, there is a point in this episode where I felt it got a little problematic, and I don't know whether that was what he was going for, because again, we are going to get to it, but like you said, with they keep going to Chow, and they almost suspect him to be involved just because he's Chinese. He's they go to him and they're like, especially Scully, and Scully's just basically accusing him. But the problem is, it turns out to be right.
Yeah.
So how much can you say bad about it?
You're racist, but you are right.
I was watching it, and I was going, bloody hell, Scully! He's just a Chinese person. It doesn't mean he's involved in this conspiracy.
Wrong.
And then he was, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe her prejudice was right. So I think that's what the theme of this episode is. Yeah. Sometimes prejudice is good.
That's not becoming the new tagline.
I'm gonna put it underneath our bloody logo. Most unwanted. Sometimes prejudice is good.
I guess. I like I said, it's one of those where I know you're saying about it. I think because it's 96, I think it's one of those where there's a lot more like leeway given. You know what I mean?
And of course, it never goes to the point where it crosses the line. I don't think it's never too much. But there's the scene that we're on about where they go to him and we're all over the place in this podcast, so I do apologise for the narrative. But they go to him and he gets upset.
Yeah.
And he sort of, like you said, he turns back to them and says, I'm not just a Chinese person, I'm actually a police officer.
Yeah.
It's not just about my culture and where my background. And I thought, good for you. But then I thought, what an interesting dynamic to portray, that this guy feels prejudiced against.
And he's conflicted because in one side he's a cop who's working.
But he's also a Chinese man and has to deal with these. And then it just goes all out when he's like, oh yeah, and he was involved. Every Chinese person is involved in this cult. It's like, what? Yeah. But it never crosses the line. I'm not having a go at it.
No.
I just found it interesting.
I know what you mean. When you watch anything that's like, it's a bit, well, like I said, it's like nearly 3 decades old now. There's always going to be stuff that sort of looks a bit different, to what we'd expect. But
I mean, talking about difference though, did you notice like the slight sort of Chinese hint to all the music or intros and outros and stuff like that? Yeah. I thought that was very well done. I really enjoyed that. It did genuinely give a feel that this was it's almost like setting a new world. Do you know what I mean? It was very interesting and it set it apart from other episodes.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the story. We've got to go in chronological order.
Okay.
We see another immigrant. I'm going to butcher some of these names. I do apologise. His name's Sin.
I think it's just Sin, isn't it? I think the H is silent.
Might be Sin. So we'll call it Sin. Just reminds me of Final Fantasy. Sin, brother. So Sin, and he's tending to his daughter who has leukemia.
I have no idea what a character name is.
It's Lucy Liu.
It's Lucy Liu.
I used to really fancy Lucy Liu. Back in the Charlie's Angels days.
I see. I've not really seen her in. Oh no, I have seen her in something.
Kill Bill,
yeah, quite a big role in that. I had to double take when I saw her because I was like, "Is that Lucy Liu?" And then I had a look, and this is like one of her very first roles.
I think she's probably a teenager in this one.
I was reading something, and she didn't become like a big star until Ally McBeal, which was like 2 years later. No, I've never seen it, but yeah.
Well, so yeah, it is Lucy Liu, but her character name's Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this conversation where he talks about how he's got to go to make some money because the doctors are saying that they can't afford the treatment. In order to afford it, he's got to go and do something. So to pay for it, he attends this sort of underground thing. Now, this is going to be weird because I thought this episode was really well done in the sense of it kept you guessing what was going on right till the end, until it explains it all. Like, we're still under this ghost theory at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to talk about it, I kind of need to just say what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's basically a lottery.
Yeah.
You go there and you put your name into a bowl, and if your name gets pulled out, you get a chance to choose from a token. Mm-hmm. In that token, you can pull out $2 million or
I think it was
it might be. Is it? What's the Chinese? Is it yen?
No, it's Japanese. Isn't it? I don't know what the Chinese currency is now.
No, I don't know either. Well, okay.
I think it was dollars.
Let's go for dollars.
Yeah.
$2 million or whatever it was. Or you can pick out a body part and you have to donate that body part and they can sell it onto a black market. Yeah, basically. That's basically the rules of it. But, and I know it's you don't find out until later, but it's very hard to talk about it unless I tell that story. But I did think this was a really interesting concept.
Yeah, because as we were watching this first scene, I had no idea what was going on.
No, same.
It reminded me a bit. Do you remember in How I Met Your Mother where Barney plays that gambling game in Atlantic City and they're all just like, what are the rules here? I felt like that. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
And but everyone else knows the rules. Yeah, everyone involved.
Everyone's like cheering and booing, and I was like, what is going on?
Well, we see this when one man, not Sin.
Yeah.
Another guy, he's got a glass eye, and he wins the lottery.
That's one thing I forgot to mention earlier. The guy who was burnt also had a glass eye.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Scully had a look, and he had a glass eye.
Oh, okay. Well then, but it just goes to show that these people have been playing the game for a while because they've already lost body parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, he wins the lottery, but he selects a tile, and you can tell immediately from everyone that it's like a bad tile. even though that we don't know that there's money at stake at this point.
Yeah.
I thought this was something to do, at the time, I thought you pick a tile and it's to appease some ancient spirit, because that's what Chow says in sort of like a voiceover, doesn't it? That there's there's a certain day of the month where the Hells of Gate opens, and there's like all these different types of spirits. I won't go into it because at the end of the day it doesn't really make a difference in the longer scheme of things. But the point is, Chow's telling this story about how that's probably what this is about.
That's the way you're led to believe it is at first.
So I assumed him picking a token was like him having to sacrifice something to this spirit. Because he does get taken into a back room and he sees like spirits and he sees like ghosts and he also sees a man that puts him to sleep, basically. And we don't hear from him again. But he is found later that day, and he's found in a grave. Basically, that a ranger comes along, finds 3 people in these masks, and long story short, it's an open grave, but they find a body underneath the grave. Someone's trying to hide that body, and when Scully performs the autopsy, it's a body that's been cut to pieces like a jigsaw, as she says. I just want to step back for 2 seconds. One thing I did notice about this episode, is this the most graphic episode we've seen?
You do see quite a lot, didn't you? There's a heart in one.
There is, and there was something I forgot to mention on the burnt body. There's a bit where they use tweezers to open up the eyelid. That looked horrific. Like, it was such good effect, but it just made me scream a little bit. And this one as well, like, he's got his whole body stitched open, and like you literally see Scully undoing all the stitches and taking the skin apart, and
it is quite graphic.
They've not done that before, I don't think. So,
also before this as well, it's a scene that you were talking about earlier where he's saying that he's haunted by his mortgage and that. Before that, they go to like a Chinese herbal medicine store, and he's asking there because there's something to do with if they find a dried frog somewhere, I think.
Or they find it in the body.
No, that's a live frog.
Yes, of course.
They find
a
dried frog somewhere else, and then they're asking about that. One thing I've always wondered: does Chinese like herbal medicine have any like known medicinal qualities, like, or is it just something that people do to, like?
As far as I think there is sort of. I think I've told this story in the podcast before. There is like something to it because a lot of medicine's made from like plants and plant extracts and stuff like that. But I don't think it's very effective for like serious like antibiotics or anything like that. I don't think that's got any effect. I think it's more for like sore throats and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it's just applying it. If you apply it for 3 weeks, time will take care of it, type of thing. It's like a placebo effect. But then again, saying that, I always just sort of poo-pooed it all. But then I remember when I was a kid and I was in Jamaica and I got 3rd-degree burns from the sun. It was that hot. And all my shoulders were just like, they were almost going black, how burnt I was. Like I was in agony. Went to the doctor, couldn't do anything, nothing you could do. And so we went to this, we was waiting for a bus stop, coming back from the doctor's, and this man came up to us and saw my shoulders, just a normal guy on the street, a vendor, and he says, aloe vera, aloe vera, aloe vera. And like obviously, aloe vera, like liquids, cure burns and stuff like that. He says $5, and it'll cure it. And at this point, my mum's desperate. My mum's desperate because like nothing's going. So he gets this. He gets all like these aloe vera plants from his backpack. Squeezes all like this juice out from the plant itself, like just generally from the plant. Puts it into this paste. Don't know what's in this paste, but starts pasting it up.
Suntan cream.
Well, yeah, possibly. But like he makes like this paste up.
Yeah.
Rubs it on my shoulders. No word of a lie. 6 hours later, and it's perfect.
I think
it's absolutely perfect.
That's the thing. There are some natural like plants and stuff like that do have like qualities that can heal some stuff. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that there is some, but yeah, I think it's not gonna like fix a broken leg.
No, exactly. Exactly. And there are a lot of things where it's more just about time. Like it's like the medieval medicine practices where it was like if you've got a head cold, if you write your name on a piece of paper, tie it to a rock and throw it in the river, and then when the water's washed your name away from the paper, then you'll be healed. And it's like, yeah, because it takes 3 weeks. I get rid of my cold in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like that's not a medicine. It's just time.
The greatest healer. Let's be honest.
exactly. I did brush over it, but we've already spoke about it. The whole interaction with Chow and how he gets defensive about, which again, well within his rights to, I think at the time, because they do just basically keep going to him and say, "What do you know about this then, Chow?" It's like, and they even mentioned he's Chinese American to the Chinese people. He's a cop. He's not a Chinese. He's a cop first. Yeah.
In the autopsy, sorry, we're jumping around
all over the place, but it's fine. Whatever comes to us.
In the autopsy as well, because this is where they start bringing up this theory of somebody basically taking body parts and stuff.
Well, the scars are like at least a year old.
Yeah.
So someone's been cutting him open and then putting him back together.
So this is where they mention it, and Scully says,
Do you know how much the human body is worth, Mulder?
Depends on the body.
He does say that.
Like, your dog.
But Scully smirks. He's like,
he's got her.
How much do you think your body would be worth?
About 10p. Get me a Freddo. They wouldn't even get me a Freddo these days.
No,
thanks to Brexit.
They do again. They keep questioning Chow about everything. And he tells them that the local community maintains a code of silence. He says, and doesn't reveal anything even to him. He says it's all right being speaking their language if everyone speaks the same language of silence.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention they also found a frog in the body of this man.
Yeah.
So they open him up and it looks like the heart starts beating, but a frog jumps out. Did they ever explain the significance of the frog?
I
don't think they do they?
No, I can't remember there being a
reason. Maybe I've missed it.
Apart from like the herbal treatment stuff earlier, but I don't know if a live one's going to be any better than a dried one.
And not inside of you, surely.
Not going to replace a heart, is it?
Exactly.
Ain't going to pump no blood round.
No, I don't know. But then again, I'm very cautious because we got a correction this week. That I messed up a few episodes ago and I completely misread one of the scenes. So I've got to be careful. And I'll get to that in my Twitter corner.
in our Twitter corrections corner.
Chow finds information, leads him to Sin, who we find out that he installed the carpet in Lowe's. The previous victim, I think his name was Lowe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He installed the carpet in the apartment. Mulder and Scully also noticed Sin's got a bandage over his eye.
Yeah, because we did see a scene earlier where they're doing the lottery again.
He wins, of course he does, yeah. So he wins.
Well,
yeah.
In the lowest time possible.
The thing is, looking back on this scene, it's quite interesting because I actually feel really sorry for this guy because he's desperate. That's why he's doing this. He's desperate for the money. And then he opens up his palm, and obviously it's got the symbol. Well, it's got the symbol for wood. Chinese symbol for wood.
Yeah.
But apparently that also can be perceived as eye.
Could be worse.
Yeah. Oh, the smut. Get it away from me. We don't need that. Yeah, again, we're jumping all over, but this is the most. We're just all over, but that's fine. It's fine. So yeah, Sin's got a bandage over his eye, and once so Mulder and Scully they're very cautious of Chow for some reason, and it's not helped by when they're leaving. Again, Sin doesn't say anything to them. They're leaving, and Chow has this conversation with them in sort of Chinese, and they're just sort of. He tells them it's about a window in the back.
Yeah, fire escape.
You can tell it's not. And at this point, I'm like, oh, Chow's going to be one of them, sadly.
See, I didn't realise at this point.
Did you not?
No, I still was. It did seem suspicious what he said, but I didn't think that he'd be in on it at this point. So yeah, it did take me aback when I found out that he was.
I wonder how he plays.
I wonder if he what?
Whether he plays
in it or if he just covers it up. Yeah.
I mean, they say that he's basically paid money to not say anything, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I don't know whether he plays. But Chow eventually gets attacked, so that throws us off again. He gets attacked by the guys in the mask. Later on, Mulder and Scully learn about the attack. They're staking out one of the properties, Sin's property, but he doesn't leave the house. There was a weird scene, actually, sorry to go back, in the apartment where Chow just walks into his daughter's bedroom. Like, that's really weird, isn't it?
Some parents do that, don't they? Where they just walk into people's bedrooms.
No, Chow.
Oh, Cho. Oh,
Where he just like sticks his head through the door. Like it looks like he's just nosing about, and he sticks his head through the door, and rather than going, "Oh God, sorry," you're like, just don't go into people's bedrooms, even if you are a detective. You know what I mean? Like, what if she was changing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's familiar with the family.
And then he's really sinister. Yeah. Just here to ask questions. Flash your badge and just say I'm a police. You know what I mean? Oh God. So yeah. So Mulder and Scully go to visit Chow. Now we are introduced to the hard-faced man, as Wikipedia tells me.
Yeah. You know X-Files, it loves to give people nondescript names.
Exactly. Interesting. Oh, okay. I don't know why he's hard-faced.
No, he didn't look that hard-faced.
No, he looked like a...
Did you recognise him?
Oh, no, I didn't recognise this guy.
He's an actor by the name of James Hong. Now, I don't have any big roles that he's in, but he's pretty much been in every, like, American sitcom kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Anytime that they need... this is going to sound very stereotypical, but
basically,
anytime they need like a wise old Chinese person, he is the man that plays that.
Yeah.
He's basically in all of that. That's one thing that I did think about this episode, because so far we've had 3 Chinese American, I think they're all Chinese American, I'm not 100% sure on that, actors, and they're quite famous for like quite a lot of roles, and I wondered if this is because when you're sort of like an ethnic minority, you sort of seem to get
take
roles.
all those roles.
Basically, yeah.
That's why there's not many ethnic minority actors.
Yeah.
Because the one Chinese person will get all, like Jackie Chan will get all like the kung fu. You know, at least in American movies. Like I know obviously it's different in like sort of in China or or Japan or any Asia in general.
Yeah, it's different there. But
any kung fu movies in America, Jackie Chan will get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's why there's a lack of minority roles.
That's one thing I noticed, because I was looking through the IMDb page and I was like, bloody hell, they're prolific. And I just thought, it's probably because anytime they'd say, we need a Chinese person, they go straight to... And I thought, it's interesting. It's
not necessarily just about race, though. I think that's just lazy casting. Like, there was a time in, like, early 2000s where you'd have obnoxious teenager. Let's go Sean William Scott. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he'd play the exact same role for every... Like, it's just... I think it's just lazy casting in that sense. But, I mean... Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah.
But, the hard-faced man visits Sin, and we start to get an idea of what's going on now. He says that Sin doesn't want to play anymore. He's lost his eye already. He basically says he needs the money, but what if he doesn't... What if he loses his life?
Yeah.
Then my daughter dies alone without her father. And the hard-faced man seems sympathetic, but then basically tells him that you know that you can't leave. Like, you made an agreement, you play the game every week.
This brings a question up about the rules. How do you get out of the game? If you win 2 million, do you then have to play next week? And it's like, what's the point?
I think once you win 2 million, you're out. So that's the way I saw it. But then, we find out later that the game's rigged.
Yeah.
Do you think they throw in 2 million every now and then just to sort of keep people happy? Because if this had been going for 30 years and everyone's like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of cutting up, but no money being won.
I know, the odds, they don't seem right. I thought at this part, like, does no one check the pot? Like, I'd be like, so. I want to know. That's definitely going in there before I'm putting my eyes up for it. I don't know, maybe they do. Maybe they win 2 million, you win. You don't have to lose your legs.
Well, it's a very nice thing for them to do, isn't it? Because it gives all those men hope.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely, lovely gesture.
A lovely game.
Hard-faced man does go on to say that the warns him that the ghostly fire will consume him if he leaves the lottery.
Yeah.
So now, then he leaves, and Sin begging him to help him as he leaves, and his daughter also sees this. Elsewhere, the agents also match the blood on the carpet in Lowe's apartment with Chow's blood. And now we sort of start piecing together that Chow actually knew Sin. Yeah. And he got Sin to recarpet the apartment because his blood was there, so...
As soon as they made the match on the blood, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening now.
Yeah. So they go straight to Sin, but he's not there. They find his daughter, and Kim tells them that she thinks he's in trouble. He's trying to get him to pay for this surgery or this sort of procedure, but she thinks he's breaking the law to do it, and she thinks she's in a lot of trouble. And then we get to sort of like the final scene, or the final sort of multiple scenes. This poor bastard, he wins the lottery twice in 2 nights. His eyes barely recovered, and he selects a tile, and we don't know what's being said. I think they say summer or sunna.
Yeah.
That was the sort of sound that they made. Because I was trying to figure out like what was going on, but Sin's face tells you everything you need to know. He almost starts to cry. He tries to escape a little bit, but half-heartedly. Yeah. He knows that he's going to die. Oh, don't! You just said half-heartedly. No, you just laughed at half-heartedly, and I shouldn't have said that. That was really cruel, wasn't it?
Full-heartedly, more like.
Chow comes in. He gets dragged away, and Chow comes in and tries to persuade the one of the organisers to let Sin live, but they're not having any of it. They sort of push him aside. They tell him that he should keep quiet, as he's been paid to do. I
thought at this point, surely they should listen to this guy, because how many dead people can they get away with? You know what I mean? They're going to get found out eventually. So.
Well, we don't know, because they only found that body by chance. But I mean, quite a good way to get rid of bodies, to be honest. Burying them in open grave plots underneath where
there's already a...
Yeah, that's quite a clever way of getting rid of bodies. If anyone's listening
if any murderers are,
Yeah. Top tip for the week.
What if we found out it was like a serial killer, and not just us?
They cite our podcast.
Yeah, it's an inspiration. It was like,
oh no. Would we be responsible? Would you think? Tell you what, I'll cover our bases.
Depends what episode drove them to it. I mean, if it was the cat one, then I'd be like, fair enough.
Yeah. Let's cover our bases and just say on the record, we do not condone murder.
I strongly do not condone murder.
Ooh.
Of any
I'm not that strong about it. I can be persuaded.
50-50.
But in all the ruckus, Chow's getting quite angry. He knocks over the table, which reveals the lottery to be fixed.
Yeah.
The only tiles in there are heart tiles.
So basically they just, when they want a body part...
Whatever's in demand, I suppose. Supply and demand. Yeah. And something else I forgot to mention. There's a doctor scene, like literally it's like 30 seconds, where they're trying to find Sin. And the organisers of this lottery send them off to the doctors they sort of portray doctors themselves and send them off to get like their kidneys measured and stuff like that, to get all the details, to know what parts they need for where.
It's like a donor clinic, but then they don't turn up for the final thing, do they? So
it's very like sort of like you said, Saw / have you ever seen Hostel?
Yeah,
it's very similar to that sort of where it's like this sort of weird dystopian reality where it's like almost a sport. Really strange.
So I know that, like, don't get me wrong, I know that like black market like organ theft and sale is a thing, because I've like heard like true life stories about it. This might show my naivety. Where the bloody hell do you sell a heart, and who's buying one? You know what I mean?
eBay.
Evil eBay. Yeah. But like, if you need a new heart, I can understand that. Like, you have to wait on the donors list. So, if you could buy one, that's magical. What doctor is going, I'll swap your heart out?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose if you were going to die, then anything goes, but
still,
where do you get these contacts? I don't know.
Maybe the dark web.
Dark web, yeah. That's the answer to everything.
Yeah,
if it's vaguely evil, it's on the dark web.
The dark web.
Yeah.
So they find out that this game's been fixed. Chow then storms into the room where the surgery on Sin is about to be carried out, and warns them. Then about a second later, shoots at them. The surgeon doesn't give them much time to react. And Mulder and Scully come in and try and calm everything down. And they realise that they've caught it just in time. Sin's still alive. And that's it. And on the way out, Hard-Faced Man sort of... I can't remember what he says, but he says something to Chow. But Chow translates it as, this isn't over.
Yeah, the game isn't over.
Yeah.
Says, yeah.
And so the final scene is the interrogation of the Hard-Faced Man. And Scully is listening to sort of what he does. And Hard-Faced Man, like I said earlier, says that he gives these men hope. He's not a bad man, that they're not scared of death in their culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another phase of life. But to live life without any hope, that's worse than hell.
Yeah.
So by giving them this hope of that, even if they can't get it, by giving them this hope of the money, he's helping them. Scully's visibly upset at this point and says he's going to go away for a long, long time. But because no one who participates would testify against him, he kind of gets away with it scot-free.
Yeah.
And Mulder says, well, what about Chow? Chow's sort of statement will be enough. Mm-hmm. But he's gone missing. We don't know where Chow is. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to Chow. I didn't like this scene. This scene got me.
This is like an ending of a Saw film.
Yeah, it really is.
Like a really dark twist.
He wakes up with we see a close up of his face, and as he sort of turns to his right, and we realise he's in that chamber.
Yeah.
And the flames go up, and he's burnt alive. What did you think of this episode?
Happy ending. I quite liked it. For a month, I haven't.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh.
Just to clarify, I forgot to mention Kim gets on the org donor list, so it looks like Kim's okay as well.
Oh, okay. So
just
all's well that ends
all's well that ends well. As long as Lucy loses, all right.
It's an okay episode. Yeah, I thought it was quite an interesting Monster of the Week episode. I really liked that we learnt a bit more about. Again, you don't learn too much about Chinese cultures, but you do learn little bits and pieces, and it's an interesting take on it. But I really liked the end of it, and this always makes me laugh when I say this about an X-Files episode. I love that there was no supernatural elements to it. It was just fucked up people, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought because of that, it made it stand out a bit more. It wasn't the greatest episode in the world, but it was a solid one, I'd say.
I completely agree. To be fair, I think I did actually really enjoy this, and I think this is just a perfect way to do a sort of mystery episode.
Yeah.
I think they just handled that brilliantly, where you've got this sort of little story, and you don't know what's going on, and then right at the end, when all of it fits together, it's perfect. I love that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So we're going to implement something new.
Episode
going forward.
The rating system.
So you mentioned last time we'd have a look at IMDb as well to rank us up against the ratings online. So out of 10, and it can have decibels as well. So if you wanted to go a 5.5 or something, you can do that. What would you give this out of 10?
So let's just make this nice and clear.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing 5's average, if you'd say.
Yeah,
down the middle.
The way I always see it is 1 is the worst.
Yeah.
5's average, 10 is as close to perfect as you can get.
Yeah. So, like I said in the earlier episode, nothing's going to be a 10 for me. Because I don't believe in perfect
You'd be surprised
episodes.
that there might be something... It's not perfect, it's as close to perfect. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
But I don't think anything's going to... I don't think my favourite film in the world, I don't think is going to get a 10.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? That's just the way I deal with rating systems.
Yeah.
So for this one, I'm going to go... We can do decimal points.
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to go 7.8.
7.8. I just went for a standard 7.
Oh, that's a good place to start, yeah.
I thought it was, like I said, it was a solid episode.
How does our views compare with the rest of the world?
Well, should we get to that in our production notes segment?
I think we should.
We'll leave that till later.
Let's do it now.
No.
Luke's production notes.
Hell Money was written by Jeff Flamming, and it was his last script for the series.
Okay.
So 2 and done. Fair enough. I can't remember what other one he did. Shall I quickly check? Well, we might as well. We've got all the time in the world, sort of. So Jeff Flamming also did Too Shy.
Too Shy. Which one was Too Shy again?
It was the guy who was online getting the women.
Oh yes, yeah, and there was the blind woman next door.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Which I thought that was a good episode as well.
I think it was the middle of the road kind of Monster of the Week one.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing. But
yeah,
it was one of the stronger ones I thought. But yeah, it's a shame that
not two decent episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's strange that he only did 2 from that
this season.
Yeah, this season.
We don't know. We might be back.
It says for the series, but I don't know.
Oh
if that's,
yes, maybe it could both ways.
Who knows? The episode was directed by Tucker Gates, making his first of only 2 episodes of the X-Files, and I won't say the other one.
Okay,
We'll keep it a surprise. I mean, everybody probably knows, but anyway. New for us. The episode features a pre-fame Lucy Liu in a guest starring role. I read it here. Lucy Liu would later gain prominence as a cast member of the show Ally McBeal in 1998.
See, it's I always remember from Charlie's Angels.
Yeah,
that was the one I remember her from.
So yeah, I never watched. I knew she was in Charlie's Angels, but I never watched it. So for me, it was
I had
Kill
a crush
Bill.
on all three of them. So that was like my dream.
The dream team.
Dream scenario.
Teenage Chicks was in life. Probably younger than teenager, wasn't it?
God, yeah, probably like 12. Well, 12, 13, something like that.
That's
but Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu. I mean, it's not like it's a major insight. Like, yeah, teenage boy likes beautiful women.
Who'd have thunk it? I only remember from Kill Bill. She was great in that.
Yeah, she was.
Completely different character. I think the first scene she's in, did she cut somebody's head off?
There is a scene where she... No, she gets her head cut. Oh, yeah, she does. Yeah, I know what you're on about, yeah.
Somebody says something to her, she just...
She gets the top of her head chopped off, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, at the end, yeah. So, spoilers for...
I mean, come on, what have you been doing? You know, watch Kill Bill. I've actually just watched Kill Bill 1 last week.
It's alright, they wouldn't have got it spoiled, did they?
I mean, speaking of spoilers, are you watching The Irishman when it comes out?
I am, yeah. It's on Netflix, isn't it? It's coming to Netflix.
It comes out next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think it's already out in America.
Yeah.
And it's had a limited release in cinemas over here. I'm setting aside a day on that weekend because I cannot wait. And it's the one thing that it sounds stupid because I don't think it will be like in the realm of spoilers. I don't think it's going to be all over the place.
Nah.
Like, for example, Mandalorian, I've been spoiled to high hell. Like, I've seen everything. I don't need to watch it.
Do you know what? The Mandalorian really... we're off on a wild tangent, but we might as well stick on this path. The Mandalorian really annoys me in terms of spoilers because Star Wars, the films, everyone's like, don't spoil anything, don't say anything about it. I want to go in completely clean. Star Wars TV show, look at this thing that's from it. It's like, whoa,
especially when half the world can't see it because we've got to wait 8 months before it comes out. Disney Plus comes out every year, so
yeah. Sometimes I think, is Twitter worth it?
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm guessing you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say because I don't want to be part of that. But there is quite an obvious, let's say, character in the show.
Yeah.
And I knew it instantly, and I was just like, for God's sake. Yeah. But so I don't want The Irishman to be spoiled, and I don't think it's that type of film. However, I don't remember being this excited about a film coming out.
Yeah.
Scorsese's back. They've got De Niro. They got Pacino. They've got who else? They got I
was going to say Danny DeVito.
No, Pesci.
I always get them confused. I don't know why.
Even some of the new up and coming gangster film like Stephen Graham and stuff like that. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
It's basically pretty much everyone from Boardwalk Empire's in it. I've heard
basically, and that's great. That's what I want.
There's another podcast to listen to, and one of the guys from that went to, because they had select theatre shows.
They did, very limited release.
They went to that, and he said it's amazing. They said it's Scorsese to the max.
He's one of my favourite directors. Yeah. I've heard, because I know it's 3.5 hour film, and I've heard you leave wanting more, and that's mad. I can't imagine that, but...
I hear Thanos shows up at the end as well. What a twist that would be.
He is inevitable.
You suckers fell for me. We'll carry on.
Let's carry on.
The premise of the episode evolved from the idea that series creator Chris Carter had about a pyramid scheme for body parts. Writer Jeff Fleming took his concept and combined it with two other ideas. The first involving a lottery in a small town, and the other concerning a corporate entity controlling the poor in Chinatown. When the initial script of Hell Money was submitted, Carter streamlined the 3 stories into one.
There you go. Interesting.
Entertainment Weekly later noted that the twisted grotesquerie of this story makes you think it must be based on a true story, but according to Carter, the story was completely original.
I mean, I've never heard of anything like this before. Like I said, it has sort of hostile vibes to me, where it's like the sort of... like you know, you said about the dark web. It's similar type of thing, like the dark underbelly of society, and something right in front of your nose, but you don't see it unless you're privy to it.
One thing that I always think of, that happens, but I don't think about it ever until I hear a story about it on the news. I'm like, bloody hell, that must happen quite a lot. Human trafficking. That blows my mind that people just get scooped up and disappear, and it's like,
It's mad,
how is
isn't
that not in the news all the time?
Yeah.
Until like something big happens, and it's like, you do hear about these things, but
Oh yeah.
Blancmange had originally hoped that the episode would end with Scully being correct, a rare occurrence in the show. In the end, however, Mulder is once again vindicated. I guess so, but he does start off thinking it's ghosts.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't say either of them are correct.
Yeah.
I think, but then again, like he does halfway through. Mulder's like, well, it could be this. Do you know what I mean? So
I think it feels like they just stumble into it. In this
it's
episode.
the detectives that have figured out the
Show
case.
that basically sort of leads them to it. But anyway, exterior scenes for the episode were filmed in Chinatown, Vancouver, while the scenes taking place in a crematorium were shot on a soundstage. Interior shots of the gambling parlour were shot at the Welsh, Irish, Scottish, English Hall in a community building in Vancouver.
Okay.
The production staff created a second balcony in the hall exclusively for the episode, with an agreement to tear it down once the episode was filmed. However, after the filming ended, the Wise Hall owners requested, that's Wise as in an abbreviation, they're very clever. The Wise Hall owners requested that the balcony be left in place for aesthetic reasons. So there you go. X-Files gives back.
Okay, interesting, very interesting.
The scene where a frog popped out of the victim's chest was created by using a live actor pretending to be a corpse, covered with a fake torso. For a close-up shot, the torso itself, which had a discreet access hole, was placed on the autopsy table, and an animal wrangler pushed a real frog through the slit.
Okay.
And finally, after filming wrapped up, actor Michael Yama and Lucy Liu were asked to re-record their dialogue, this time affecting Cantonese accents. Their lines were then added over the original footage in post-production.
Oh.
I didn't even notice.
No, I mean, we wouldn't know, would we? Let's be honest.
True. So, did we match with the critics?
So what did you say? You said 7.
I gave it a 7.
And I said 7.8, was it?
Yes. Yeah, 7 and a 7.8. So IMDb, with 2,528 ratings, gave it a 7.2.
Well played.
Pretty much bang in the middle of what we thought, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's around the same ballpark.
So yeah, it received mixed positive reviews from critics. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-, calling it gorgeously shot, and citing the lush, smoky gaming halls. However, reviewer Emily Vanderwolf gave it a C+, and wrote the episode was also fairly bold for its time. Ultimately, she concluded the major problem is that it feels like a backdoor pilot for a new series starring B.D. Wong.
All right, Vanderwolf.
You got to take.
But I'd watch the hell of that,
that
series.
Be great, yeah.
But he's dead.
He's dead.
So
prequel, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be a good series. I did like that character.
I guess there's only one thing left for this episode, then, is it?
Welcome to Dan's Twitter Corner.
Right, so like I said earlier, there is a pretty major correction that I did want to address.
Laid on me.
Ray got in touch, and it's in the in our sort of rundown of Pusher. I said that he fired the gun at Scully, and it was a blank.
I saw this tweet, yeah.
And then he also carried on firing. What was his name? Modell. He carried on firing at him, but there was all blanks, and I thought they was all blanks, and Modell was just playing a game with him, or Pusher was just playing a game with him. But apparently I was wrong. Apparently he doesn't fire at Scully. He manages to hold himself. I could have sworn I heard a click.
Yeah.
But then again, I might have just misread it. And then apparently he does take a fire off. But you know what? It's like when he goes down, because we watched the clip, and he does go down, and then, like, apparently he gets injured, and then he just keeps on firing. Obviously, there's only one bullet in the gun. I think I just thought that was the sound of the table, and like, you know what I mean, like as he fell, and I think he was just like, I thought he was just playing a game, but yeah. I have rewatched the scene, and it is pretty obvious that he just shoots him, so that is my bad.
I'll be honest, I thought he did get shot, but the way you were describing it, I was like, oh, maybe I got it wrong. You talked me out of it.
No, so, yeah, I was wrong on that one, I'll admit that, but yeah, thanks for letting me know, because we could have made idiots out of ourselves.
Like, that would never happen again.
But she exactly. She does also say that it's a very strong episode in her opinion. It's on a top 15. I mean, that's quite strong, really.
Because there's a lot of episodes, as I've found out recently.
Yeah, she did say she goes on to say she really enjoyed the episode. We've also Kathy got in touch saying that she's really glad we enjoyed Push It, one of her all-time favourite episodes as well. So quite a popular episode, this one. She said, I loved your point that a good monster of the week is one that makes you wonder what you would do in that situation. And she also says, thanks for pointing out the shippier moments. We know our listeners. We'll always try and point them out. There was none this week, I don't think, or none of... I have watched next week's, and there's a few in next week's episodes.
Maybe they had a moment when they were examining the body. Can there be a shippy moment there?
There was that one where he says it depends on the body, and like Scully's like gives a little smile. Maybe he's like saying.
I assumed he meant prostitute. I don't know. I don't know.
No, maybe he's saying she looks like $1,000,000. Yeah. I'm gonna take the innocent high road.
yeah, but then again, there's something in the next episode that makes me think Mulder has no innocence. He's all smart,
And we had a couple more tweets, and some more people congratulating me on the wedding and saying we both look smart. So thank you very much for those congratulations. And that's it for this week.
Yeah.
And like I said, just a few moments ago, we have watched next week's episode.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to talking about that one.
I was looking forward to it as soon as I saw the title, because I remember it being one of the Darren Morgan ones.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I can't wait for this episode.
So next Wednesday, we'll get that out to you. But for now, have you got any last words for the listeners?
Money. It causes all kinds of problems. Some could call it hellish.
Hellish, yeah. We need to work on our outros.